And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone. It is once again the Weighing In podcast, and still the greatest podcast. Well, I'll let other people say that, but yes, we are the best there is out there when talking about MMA. Who's that?
I think Joe's got us beat, buddy. Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I think he's got us beat.
Dude, he's a nobody.
Oh,
He's now a doctor.
Right.
He's now a doctor.
No, that's awesome. I thought it was the funniest shit ever. I was going to duct him into the
Then it comes out,
UFC Hall
Dr.
of
Joe
Fame
Rogan.
as a fucking doctor. I thought it was
It was awesome. So we're here to talk about the happenings of what occurred this week with MMA, especially Bellator and the UFC. Rob Font against Jose Aldo, who is just having a second coming of his career. Amazing in the Bantamweight division. He can stay with guys and do what he does. Pretty impressive. So incredible win by Sergio Pettis against Kyoji Horiguchi in Bellator. What a knockout. Unbelievable. What a change of events. How are you feeling? You flew all the way back. I flew all the way back. We haven't had any sleep. Life is fantastic.
I feel actually not too bad this time. I got a pretty good sleep on the way back. And, I think really what it's come down to, John, I've learned that when I'm feeling really tired, it's probably best to upgrade. I can sleep. I can sleep in Coach. I can sleep in Comfort Plus. I can sleep, but you put me in first class. I mean, I'll be asleep before we get out of the gate. I'm just knocked out. Like the stewards, they don't even bother me. That's how passed out I am. And today I had a hoodie on with my hat on, put down over my eyes. My mask was up to my nose, and I was just neck roll pillow out, and I have little things on the side too from the plane, and I was knocked.
Do not disturb signs all around you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. On the long flight from Detroit to San Francisco, the guy was being a total. The guy next to me, I think you're in the wrong seat. I was like, oh, normally like the D is kind of, because in some of the planes the D is the aisle. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe the newer ones it goes back to D being the D ends up being the window, but in first class D was the window this time. So I don't know what it was. Anyways. But he's like, yeah, I think you're in my seat. I was like, well, do you want the window? And I was like, I don't mind, taking the window or whatever. He's like, oh, no, I'll take my seat. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
I just want to say, why is it that we go all this time, all this way, no sleep, but our producer, Podcast Dave, is racked out. We have to wake him up. What is going on?
We were texting him, calling him. I mean, I even had to call his wife
Unbelievable,
to get him to
Dave.
wake up.
Sleeping on the job.
Shake. She gave him a shake and said, get up, babe. They're waiting for
you. Get up.
you.
You're actually supposed to work for a living. My God.
I love it.
No comment.
Then he tries to put it off on his kid, too. That's the worst.
I love
that was horrible.
See, I can bet, though. I think what it was is his son probably did wake up, and he probably went and tried to get him back to sleep, and he fell asleep next to him.
He fell asleep in his bed.
I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. All right, well, let's get this.
Or on the floor by his bed.
Let's get this thing started. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of the prelims for Bellator, but then we're going to jump probably right into the main card. The reason why we're going to talk about some of the prelims is there was a couple good fights that we deserved. I feel like deserved some kept man. Kyle Crutchmere, Oliver Enkamp. It was a dog dirty fight by both of them. Oliver just kept getting taken down, but he kept attacking and attacking. He had a couple that were pretty damn close, John. The Kimura was kind of close. He had that inverted triangle in the first round that was kind of close.
Twice.
There were some moments there where I was thinking, man, this could be, because Kyle hadn't really broke a sweat just yet. But overall, at the end of the whole thing, Kyle Crutchmer's wrestling, his ability to escape submissions and then lay the work down, and also just the continuous mat return. He just kept lifting and slamming, locking hands, pulling him out from underneath his legs out from underneath him and sitting him back to his butt and doing some good work. I was really concerned because I've called a couple of Oliver's fights over when we did the European series. And when I called his fights, he's got a gas tank on him. The kid doesn't seem to get tired. He fights at a pace that not a lot of fighters can continuously keep up with. And Kyle has a tendency to use a ton of wrestling because he's a great wrestler, but he uses a lot of strength that wrestling. And there's the constant mat returns that tends to tire you out, slow you down. And he started looking tired at that beginning of that third, but then after he got the takedown, I think he caught the kick or something like that. I think he caught it off the kick. And once the fight got to the ground, Oliver couldn't get back up in the third round. But it was overall a very active fight, a very good fight. Both of them were having to work a lot, but I was really concerned going in for Kyle because this kid's good. This kid's young. He's talented. He's got a lot to prove. He just got into the top 10 ranking. I think he was ranked number 8 or maybe number 9. I think number 9.
He's 10.
And so, was he 10?
10.
All right, so I was way wrong. 8,
no,
9, 10. Just
right
keep
there.
guessing, Josh. Just keep guessing, Josh.
You're going to be there now.
Yeah, so Kyle, by Monday or Tuesday, probably be in those rankings now in that number 9 or number 10 spot. But overall, I thought it was a great performance by both fighters. It was very good. They both were active. That's the kind of fights I want to see when guys never give up. Kyle kept grinding away, and Oliver kept crying away, trying to get the submissions because couldn't get it.
You got to look at what Kyle Crutchmer's doing now because he got into that same freaking, mindset that stand up is easier than wrestling, so I can knock people out because I can hit hard and stuff. Yeah. And he lost that one fight to Cameron Lashinov based upon that he didn't wrestle. Yeah. And that's his lone loss. And it's like, man, you cannot be that guy. He ends up fighting Chokely, and he wins it based upon used mostly his wrestling. And in this one, same thing with Encamp. He did a great job. He did exactly what he was supposed to do to get the win. There's a lot of people that aren't going to like, the style that he used. I thought it was smart. I thought it was effective, and I thought it was actually fun to watch how he was going after the mat returns, especially. He was actually, letting him get up, trying to getting his hands closed, and then bringing him back down to kind of try to, break his will, even though Encamp, I don't think you can break him. He doesn't have that in him and stuff, but just a great performance by both guys. I enjoyed the fight, and I thought that Kyle Crutchmer, look, if he continues to fight this way, people are going to have a hard time dealing with him because he is okay on his feet. He can defend himself, and he's good enough that he can move around.
He's got power.
And wait for that moment when he can use his hands to get the guy to start to turtle up and then drop his levels and get into him. And if he gets into you, he's strong. He's going to get the takedown. So it's he's effective, and I thought it was a great win for him. So congratulations to him, man. He's fighting smart. Yeah. Didn't he just have a son? Didn't he just have a baby boy?
Yes, he just had a baby. Yep.
Congratulations to him, man. That's awesome.
So he's but with him, to get back on what you were talking about, I didn't have him losing that fight. I feel like he should still be undefeated. Now it was a close fight.
Oh, you're talking about Lashinov?
I didn't. Yeah, when he lost to Lashinov, I didn't have him losing that fight. I had him winning, but it was a close fight.
It was very close.
What I didn't like was in that fight with Lashinov is that he hit him with a great 2-piece, but didn't fall.
2-piece Minnesota. It was 3 shots. And because Lashinov put his hands down like, go ahead, hit me, and he did.
Yeah.
And it hurt Lashinov, and they didn't give him credit for it.
He sat back like, oh.
Because they said, that didn't hurt him.
Yeah, right. No, I did. But let's talk about, I honestly got to believe outside of the main event, the fight that stole the show was the main event, but the other fight that stole the show that was on the prelims was the Dan Moret and Spike Carlisle fight. That fight was just absolutely insane, back and forth, but Dan Moret was winning the fight for sure. 2 rounds to none. He was definitely winning the fight. But what really there was a lot of back and forth exchanges. Spike was landing some clean, hard shots and doing some good wrestling in that fight. And he just was always a little bit behind, but he also took the fight on short notice. So he didn't have a full camp. I don't know how long he had, but he didn't have a full camp. And he came in and he fought a great fight in terms of the best he could do with the amount of time he had, with the conditioning that he had. But there was just no quitting that guy. When we say someone's a dog, that's what I'm talking about. This guy's a fucking dog.
Yep.
This guy is a dog. So, and not to, Dan Moret's a dog also. I mean, like, they were going back and forth, big shots, both taking big shots. But the overall end part of that fight was just insane how it all came about. Spike kind of scrambles out to the position, gets the hooks, gets to the back. You think he's already going to finish Dan with the rear naked, with the palm to palm, doesn't get it, finally puts the hand behind the head, and then just puts him to sleep. Yep. I mean, he's down 2 rounds to none. Like, it's very obvious that he needs to finish.
He was down in the third. He was down in the third.
Yeah, he was down in the third. What was there, like maybe a minute left in the fight?
I want to say, I would say there was about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, 2 minutes left.
Maybe about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, so I mean, but overall, like if you go back and you watch that fight, it was just a fun fight. I'm not going to say neither one of these guys are great technicians. Neither one of them are, they're not Muay Thai kickboxer like professionals or
no, but they both have balls that fucking clank.
Champs. Yeah, they were going after it. It was a fun fight. I mean, if you guys get a chance to check it out, man.
Yeah, I love Spike Carlisle after I was talking to him. So how you feel? I feel like dog shit. He was exhausted, man. He put it all out there. So, but that was a fun fight. It was a great effort by both of them. I don't think Dan in any way goes down. I thought he fought really well, against a guy who was really tough in spiking, and he was up in the third round. He was winning that round until he made the one mistake, and Spike got his back. He couldn't get himself out. Spike put him to sleep. He goes, I don't tap to submissions. Well, he did not lie, and I love that when guys make that statement and then go and prove it, and he went to sleep. That's okay.
Yeah.
But a great win for Spike Carlisle.
Can't
wait to watch him again. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he was fun to watch. It was definitely an action-packed fight. It was something that I'll tune to watch. But I would like for him just to cut his hair, though. Okay, I don't know what it is. The Axl Rose, kind of like that long hair.
I liked it.
Yeah, a hard pass for me. Hard pass.
I liked it, man. Came out looking like the Crusader, man. That was awesome.
Let's see who else. Mike Hamill snuck away with a split decision. Montalvo, he looked dominated a lot. He's a little bit of a slow starter, almost like he was just kind of like taking his time. But he's got to be
did a great job of going to the body.
Yeah, he did. Very nice with the body kicks and then hitting the body shots as well. Chokely looked good. I thought he looked. I don't know. I was hearing you guys do the commentary, but then were you concerned at all that it was going to be a split? Because I had him winning every round.
Oh, I had him winning all the rounds too. But
okay.
You don't know, when you're watching that kind of fight, because in my opinion, he was landing the bigger shots, and for the most part, I thought he was landing more shots, but De Jesus was coming forward a lot on him, and sometimes you'll get judges they'll give that credit even though that guy's not landing, in my opinion. So
yeah,
but
Kai Kamaka making his debut. I talked to him afterwards. I said, look, I understand it was your debut, but you got to pull the trigger, man. Had you thrown more,
wasn't his
had
debut.
You kicked more, had you done more, you were
But that wasn't his debut.
Well, I know it wasn't his debut. He's 3-0, right? He's come back to Bellator, but I mean, like it's like kind of.
He had a hard time in the UFC.
It's more of like his. Yeah, I mean, he had some shitty, he had a draw. He had a fight. He didn't perform at all. Then he had a fight. He should have won, and then he had a draw.
He fought great, and he got screwed. And then he had one that he should have won, but he lost points based upon the referee taking points from him, and so he got a draw.
Poor kid. But overall, I just talked to him afterwards. I said, "Hey, man, you got to pull the trigger, buddy." I said, "I know it's like almost like you're coming back, new promotion, that kind of thing." I go, "But you got to pull the trigger. If you let your shit go, he's good. He's got good talent.
Quick,
he's
got
powerful.
power.
His kicks. He's got powers. He's got good takedowns and submissions. He's got to be a little bit more active from the top position as well when he's doing his jiu-jitsu. That's what happened from before. He fought in Bellator a long time ago. It was in Hawaii. And he got a lot of takedowns and was dominating the positions, but he wasn't active enough. Not in terms of like the ground and pound, the submission attacks.
He's controlling.
Yeah, he's
very
controlling,
and he's not going to finish a fight. Well, you can't get me off you. I'm just going to control you. You got to do damage. You got to try to end the fight.
Yeah. Alexander Shabley, I'm not going to say too much. He needs to have better performances. With that much talent, that much ability, he needs to have better performances.
I agree.
He's
not impressed.
He's
just say it. Not impressed with your performance.
I was not impressed by your performance. Yeah. So, but I know he's talented. I know he's good. I just know he can do more. That's why. Johnny Eblen, nothing to really say either about Johnny Eblen. Johnny Eblen did exactly what he was supposed to do. Came out, dispatched of somebody who was making their debut, and talked that, Colin Huckbody talked the talk, but just did not walk the walk at all.
He was not of Johnny Eblen's level.
Not even close. But who performed really well that night was Josh Hill. Josh Hill has gotten this reputation of being someone who goes the distance, someone who's a technician, someone who's okay with just touching you, making you pay, taking you down, controlling top position, a little bit of ground and pound. But he's just really good everywhere, but not super good anywhere. But he's one of the most well-rounded fighters I think we have probably on our roster that are actually, it's really in the sport. He puts it all together really well. He chains it all together really well. But he doesn't go for broke. He doesn't take big chances. He's not that fighter. But then Scoggins made it perfectly okay for him, because what happens is guys like Scoggins, like even his brother Justin, they leave themselves out of position a lot by jumping in with their big kicks, jumping in with their side kicks, their spinning kicks, all of those things. And that works sometimes that will definitely work against him, against somebody like a Josh Hill, who stays very tight with his technique. He keeps his elbows in tight to his ribs. His hands are always up by his chin. He moves his head off line really well, and he counters really well after someone throws. And that fell right into what he was looking to do against Scoggins.
Yeah, well, Scoggins uses that in transition. He'll be in his southpaw stance, and he'll throw a right left and transition into an orthodox stance, and he caught him right in the middle of that transition and put his lights out. You look at it. Look, Scoggins came in, didn't make weight. Josh Hill takes the fight without saying anything. I don't care, whatever it is. He gets extra money for it, and I love the fact that the commission took even extra, as far as on top of that, they took 35% because he was 5 pounds over. But commissions have to start doing something about this. We've talked about it before. If you're over more than 2 pounds, it should be 50%. It's a 50% cut. And if you say, no, I don't want to fight, then that's okay. You have that right to say that, but it's a automatic in your, you cannot be licensed in that weight class. Again, you have to go up. So if you say, I'm not going to fight, then you automatically get put up. If you are going to fight, you lose 50%, and you can try to fight in that weight class again. So I don't know. I'm tired of watching guys, because there's no doubt when a guy like Jared Scoggins comes in, is the first guy weighing in that day, comes in dry and weighs 5 pounds over. What is it telling you?
Yeah. It's telling you that he had another 40 minutes, 50 minutes to make the weight.
We had more. He had a couple hours. He could have been doing stuff.
Yeah, when you come in dry, you don't have plastics on, you don't have any of that stuff on. That just means you gave up a while ago.
Yep. You're not trying.
And that's just not.
And you're making it a conscious decision that, okay, I'm going to end up losing money, but I'm going to use it tactically to say, well, I'm not going to kill myself to try to get down. Okay, but if you're going to do that, you're going to lose more than what you think. Mm-hmm. It's got to be that way, especially when it's that much weight.
So you're putting all the emphasis on the commission, then, not so much the promotion.
Yeah, I put it all on the commission. The promotion itself can always sit there and say, well, we're not going to let you fight at that weight. But as the commission, the promotion can't make the fighter fight, and the commission cannot make the fighter fight. The commission comes and says, you're going to lose 50%, and the fighter, who has been brought in by the promotion, so the promotion has paid for the flights, they've paid for the rooms, they've paid for a per diem, and that not only for the fighter, but also for their corner people. So all they are in the position of is losing the fight, losing money over it. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's not much you can do, so there has to be a penalty if that fighter who didn't make weight and is going to lose the percentage, that there has to be a penalty if they decide that's what they're going to do, because it's all a business decision. You're saying, well, I don't want to fight for 50% less money. Okay, that's no problem, but you are going to have to move up. The next time you fight, you can't fight in this weight class because you've proved that you can't make that weight.
Is that 2 pounds with the 1 pound allowance? So it's actually 3 pounds. Is that what you're saying? Or is it just the 2 pounds off the 155? Or like say if it's 155? Because what happens if it's for a title fight? Obviously, they've been able to make the weight to get to the title shot.
Yeah.
If they don't make it, they've already suffered or not, because it's not a title shot anymore if they don't make the weight.
That's right.
So you have to decipher between those two? So like if it's 155 is the weight.
Making the weight, 155 is the weight. You can weigh 156. If you weigh in at 158 point something, you're more than 2 pounds over. I still give you the 1 pound allowance.
Yeah.
But you're more than 2 pounds over what you could have actually made weight at. And so you get to that point, if you weigh in at 156.5, You lose 20%. Okay. You're overweight, but you'll lose 20%. You weigh in at 150, 7.1. You lose 20%. But if you weigh in more than 2 pounds off of that, you weigh in at 158.1. No, you're going to lose 50%. Anything above it, you're losing 50% of your pay.
Yeah. The only reason why I'm real hesitant about this, John, is that it favors the people that are 125, 135, 145, 155. Because they don't have to make that big jump to the next weight class. If there was the 165, 175, 185, I would be probably a little bit more okay with it. But I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, but what am I complaining about right now? Scoggins fights at 135. So it's like he could have went up to 45. You know what I mean? But I don't like that really when you get into the upper weights, because it's a lot for someone to have to fight those guys at 170 from 155. You look at like Masvidal, he's a big 155 pounder, but 170 he's just about average. Not even average. I think he's less than average. I mean,
he's not tall, less than average.
But he's not like he's like size wise.
Hold on, think about this. Masvidal has to cut a lot of weight to get to 170.
You think so?
Yeah, he does. Now, if he has a long training camp, maybe it's 15 pounds, 12 pounds, somewhere in there.
That's average, though. That's normal.
It is normal. But what's wrong with that? That's why he actually has had good performances at welterweight.
I'm not going to get into the performance. I'm not going to get into the performance talk. Okay, that's not part of the conversation. The conversation is that you're going to have fighters that are not used to having to dealing with those bigger guys. Can you imagine someone like myself? If I didn't make weight one time over 2 pounds, I got to fight Matt Hughes. Yeah, fuck off. I'm like, I might as well just retire. Like, screw that shit. Like, I've grappled with that guy before, before his accident. Jesus, that guy was hands down the strongest guy I think I've ever seen.
He was strong.
Ever in my life. He was freakishly strong.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, anyways, that's enough about the Scoggins situation. Great performance by Josh Hill. Good knockout.
That's
what he needed. That put him right into that alternate
put him into
spot
put him in the Grand Prix as the alternate. And I'll bet somewhere along the way he gets in there.
The reason why are you thinking that? Are you thinking it because of COVID? Are you thinking of it because some injuries? I'm thinking of it because we've got two guys in there that have a problem with make weight. Yeah.
Hello.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yep. We have two guys in that tournament that have an issue sometimes making weight. One of them's only had the issue one time, which is Patchy Mix.
That's
He's only had the issue that last fight against
his
Gallagher.
last fight against
He's
Gallagher.
always made weight.
Yep.
But he missed it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And he's in that tournament. And so that honestly, I was surprised that they put him in there because I know he's good. I know he's deserved to be in it. But if you don't make weight, you're holding up everyone. You're out. There's not like hey, you make weight, you can still fight. No, you're out and the alternate's there. Yes. So they're going to have Josh Hill will be there at every fight to be the alternate. And I'm like, all right. Because I was talking with some of the guys for Bellator and they're like, yeah, no, Josh Hill will make weight. Every time there's
he's got to weigh in.
Do all of them. He's going to weigh in for a replacement. They may even have 2. They may even have 2 as a replacement. So I don't know who the second one will be, but
all good.
We will see.
I think eventually he's definitely going to get in there. So
okay, so let's talk about Emmanuel Sanchez, Jeremy Kennedy. Jeremy Kennedy looked phenomenal. Looked controlling, did some work. He should have been a little bit more active with the ground and pound. But you're dealing with someone like an Emmanuel Sanchez who's always making you defend submissions. Now, I could have went a little harder in the paint on Jeremy Kennedy in his last fight. No, I think the fight before where he got the win. He lost his last fight.
Yeah.
Click on Jeremy Kennedy for me. He lost his last fight before Emmanuel. Yeah, he lost to
Adam.
He
lost to Adam.
Yeah, when he beat Matt Bassett, though, he should have been a little bit more active with the ground and pound. He had a couple of good shots in there, and then he went back to controlling. I felt like he could have got Matt Bassett out of there. Yep. Boric is a different level, though. Different story, different level. You just gotta you're trying to get that win. He wasn't able to.
I agree.
But then he gets to Emmanuel Sanchez. Emmanuel Sanchez is physically like, what do we do with him now? He's lost 3 in a row. He lost Patricio, and then he lost his last fight to Mads Burnell, and then he just lost to Jeremy Kennedy. Jeremy Kennedy is tough, but if you looked at the two of them, you looked at Jeremy Kennedy, you looked at Mads Burnell. They're very similar in style. I mean, Mads has a lot more submission attacks. But Jeremy Kennedy has a little bit harder ground and pound and like pressure and hip pressure and those type of things. So there's more of a threat from Mads in terms of being finished, but with Jeremy Kennedy is more of that. Like
Mads a better submission guy by far, but Jeremy's a better wrestler than Mads.
That's true. Very true. Yep. But overall, what did you think of the fight?
I'm going to say it. I have to do the score on that, and I made a mistake in the first round because I forgot about the high crotch that Jeremy landed, that he brought Emmanuel up and stuff, and so I thought, he won every round. I thought Sanchez did good work underneath him in that first round, but not enough to make up with that slam and everything that happened. I think Jeremy did the fight style that he needed to employ against Adam Borsch. He did it against Sanchez. And, we talked with his coaches, and Eric Nixick was very disappointed with his performance against Borsch because he didn't listen. And then he was very happy that his guy, his pupil, or whatever you want to say, went through a camp, had a plan, and then went out there and executed the plan. And that's why he came away with a win against a guy who's a tough dude, a guy who I really like watching fight in Sanchez. But Sanchez could not stop Kennedy from taking him down, and he really couldn't get up away from him, which we've seen him do with several guys. Kennedy was able to control position, land some shots, do some damage, not enough to get rid of Emmanuel, but you got to look and say that is, again, just like Kretschmer's fight, that was the fight that Jeremy Kennedy needs to fight to win against someone like Emmanuel Sanchez. When a guy fights the right fight, I'll never complain. That's being smart, that's fight IQ, and this whole thing is about winning, because winning solves everything. And I thought Jeremy Kennedy put a good stamp on his position in the featherweight division for Bellator, and I think, he can compete against a lot of good guys when he fights his style.
Yeah, he's going to have to, when you get to that upper bracket, though, when he fights a guy like Adam Borsch, he's going to have to be a lot more active when he gets to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Borsch being taller, longer, all of those things going to pose a little bit more of a threat.
Faster.
The submission threats by Emmanuel Sanchez, some of them got close. But the problem is, though, is that when they, if all you young fighters, if you guys listen to this, I want you guys to pay attention, go back maybe and watch this fight, and even watch his fight with Mads Burnell. If the submissions get close, but are they close enough where the judge goes, oh, man, I'm going to score that? In my mind, it was close enough for me to think, he could have finished him. There was never really one where,
Go ahead. When you're looking at a submission attempt, it's kind of like, think about, we talk about all the time, Brent Primus had a Mamedov, and he threw up a lot of submission attempts. A couple of them you saw Mamedov really have to defend against. Mm-hmm. And when someone really has to defend against it, what's it saying? Well, it's effective. It's making the guy have to work to stop it. And then there's ones that they just, basically work their way through pretty easily. They don't get credit for it. It's nothing more than, you tried something. It's like missing a punch. You threw the punch, didn't land, didn't do anything. But if the fighter has to actually work to defend that submission, there's different levels to how hard did they have to work. When it's, they have to work to the point that they're almost choked out, but they, get themselves through. Okay. That's like a big knockdown punch. But if they, guy gets his arm around his neck and the guy takes and pulls, the locking hand down, and it's never really that close. Okay. There's a position, and you're trying, but it's not close to being, successful.
Yeah. So when I was telling, you talk to the young fighters, if you don't feel like it's close enough, you need to work to get back to your feet. Either kick them back, whether you try to sweep them from there, whatever it is, you've got to do something to get on top. Then don't continue to keep shooting up submissions that are not getting close. And that's Emmanuel Sanchez has fallen into that right now because people have found a way to beat him. The way to beat him is to keep taking him down, controlling him, make him work. I don't think the physical strength of Emmanuel Sanchez, because he is getting older. I think he's about 35. Can you click on Sanchez for me?
No. He's younger than that.
Oh, Jesus. He's 31. I'm so bad with ages, John. Like I am with names and math and spelling. I don't know what it is.
He
okay, so he's 31 years old. Yeah, okay. So 31. But, I mean, I think a lot of his focus is conditioning.
Yep.
But when you get to a certain level, you need to start focusing a little bit more on strength.
But then
His
you're talking about weight
there.
too.
Yeah, his cardio. Yeah, I get that, but his cardio, you can tell, his body can afford to put a little weight on. In terms of muscle mass, he's still slim. He's somebody that I think. Excuse me.
That's what happens.
Somebody that I think will
don't sleep.
Yeah, we travel this much. No, he's somebody that can afford to put the weight on because of the amount of cardio he does. So he'll just build lean muscle mass. He's not going to build a ton of bulkiness unless he decides not to like do a lot of cardio anymore.
Have you seen that guy, Conor McGregor, Mr. 190 pounds of granite?
I swear, I actually went back through some of those photos, and I really don't believe that's him. I can't. Believe that's him. His nose is super fat,
dude. No, that's just because
his
he's going.
jawline is super fat. Oh my gosh,
what happens?
It's crazy. That's nuts, man. That's crazy to think that he's that puffy.
Yep.
That's just nuts. Anyways, back to Sanchez. Sanchez, I think he can afford to lift some weights. He's going to have to start lifting, do a little bit more functional movements with a little bit heavier weights. He's going to start having to build some muscle mass. He may take him about 6 months. But right now, he needs to reinvent himself a little bit in terms of his strength because of these younger kids that he's fighting, a Jeremy Kennedy, a Mads. I don't know if Mads is younger than him, but Jeremy Kennedy, these type of young kids Mads that are coming up and to fight him. Yeah, Mads is 27. Yeah. These younger kids that are coming up to fight him, they're physically strong, and they've been spending their time getting themselves, in tip-top shape in terms of physical peakness. And so, he's always been a cardio king, but there's a difference between being a cardio king and actually having the strength to go along with it.
Yeah.
So he needs to make that adjustment. All right, well, let's get into the main event. The main event was Sergio Pettis versus Kyoji Horiguchi. The hype all around Horiguchi throughout this fight. Not a lot of respect was put on Pettis' name. And in all fairness, John, fairness, it went exactly the way that almost everyone thought the fight was going to go up until the last 2 seconds of the fight. That was it.
Okay.
It went exactly how everyone was going to go.
The first thing I thought of was, I had laughed about Chael Sonnen's remarks about the Frankie Edgar, Cheeto Vera saying that Frankie won every second of that fight up to the point where he lost. And I was like, did you watch that fight, dude? I was like, you're crazy. Frankie may have won the first round, definitely didn't win the second round. And but this is one, that was the fourth round. And there's no doubt that Horiguchi won the first 3 rounds, and he was walking away with them. And it was significant if you looked at the volume that he put on. Let's just be honest, Pettis wasn't able to really touch him. Pettis was a little bit tight, he was tight in his technique and everything, and he was kind of getting to the point he was waiting because he was having a hard time with the speed and the movement of Horiguchi. And I thought, after the third round, Scott Cushman for Sergio Pettis and Duke both are telling him, you've got to use your jab. I don't care if you hit him with it. I want you to throw it out there to make him respect that you're going to be moving towards him. Just throw it out, and then that's going to open things up for him. It's going to stop some of what he's doing. Just start throwing it. And he went out there and he threw it, and then he kind of stopped again. I went, man, he's just tight in everything he's doing because he can't figure him out. And then all of a sudden, just something, it wasn't that he was winning, but somewhere I would say, about a minute and a half into that round, he started to get a little bit more into the flow of the movement, and then that kick, he throws the kick and Horiguchi ducks it, but he comes with the spinning back fist, and it just touched the chin right. It didn't even seem like it hit that hard, but he was out. He was out going down. And, I love the fact that Sergio didn't land the hammer fist. He went to finish him off and realizes he's out and doesn't do it, where a lot of guys would have. But what a huge comeback win, and what a statement, because this is why, we say this is why it's a 5-round fight, because there's a difference between a 5-round fight and a 3-round fight, and the championship fights need to be more, and this is one of the reasons they need to be more, because these things happen, and I thought Horiguchi was looking fantastic. He was doing exactly what he always does. And he's got a little bit sloppy, towards the end. His hands were getting lower and lower, and he always has low hands anyways because he jumps in and out. But, he was performing exactly the way he was supposed to. And he was winning that fight right to the point where he wasn't.
So if some of you guys have known me, and some people that watch this show, they probably have seen some of my old past fights. If you go back and watch my fight with Kid Yamamoto, it's a very similar fight in terms of I'm chasing after him with my hands up high, and I'm very stiff. And I'm just walking after Kid Yamamoto, and he is so fast. He's jumping in and punching me, jumping in and taking me down, jumping in and doing all these things. And then finally, like after the first round, I'm just getting like ragdolled everywhere and like hit with things. And then like I went to like swing and he was gone. I went to kick and he was gone. You realize that you've got to be first. And I mean, I figured it out after the first round because my corners were yelling at me like, you got to go first. If you don't go first, if you don't put him on his back foot and make him go first, you're going to get your ass kicked, which I was already getting my ass kicked. And so when
that's when you decided to kick him in the nuts.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. It made him stand still. But I started having more success in that second round because I was going first. I was going after and throwing stuff and being first with it. That's what Pettis did, but he didn't start doing it until the fourth round. What it is, it's the speed. The speed plays a factor. And the reason why I know so much about this, I train with this kid named Thomas DeAnge. And he's a really good kickboxer, savate style, catch kicks, all these things. But he was extremely fast, super fast. And it was like almost, you felt like every time he'd throw a punch, have you ever tried like catching a football with those like blinking glasses? They're like flash glasses, like strobe lights. Try catching a football when a strobe light's going on. It's like that. You're blinking so fast. You're trying to catch what they're doing. They're moving so much and you're having to blink. You're afraid like they're going to punch you. You blink and you miss. That's what Pettis was going through. The speed of Horiguchi was having a huge impact on him. He was so tense because he wanted to make sure that he had gritted down and he could take the shot. He didn't want to get caught with something just coming in casually. If you looked at Horiguchi's fights with Asakura and Tokoro, I mean, he just stepped in, boom, he caught them off guard. They were just being casual about it, and his power he possesses, which he possesses a lot of power. You look at the leg kicks that he did with Pettis, you look at the leg kicks he did with Asakura, and he was able to drop those guys with those leg kicks. And so in the power he possesses in his hands, his timing on the ins and the outs. We had Kayla Harrison on last week. She's like, oh my God. Like technique-wise, his abilities to get in and out super fast without taking any damage. This was one of those things where Pettis was down 3-0. He was kind of starting to lose that round a little bit. It was getting closer because he was putting him on his back foot.
Yeah, but he was still losing
it at an uncomfortable pace. He was still losing it.
Yep.
But when you fight guys like Horiguchi that do a lot of movement, they come in, they come out. You've got to be walking them down forward because now you're putting pressure on them, and they're having to move erratically that they're not familiar with. If you just let them keep doing what they're doing, they're relaxed, they're casual, they're cool. The problem with having to do what Pettis did, you sometimes walk into a big shot and get knocked the fuck out. That's the problem with it. But look, if you're losing 3-0, you got to go for it. You know you've already lost the fight if this thing goes the distance. Even if you win the last two, you've got to go for it. And so in this position, he still stayed tight, but he was letting things come together. And for everyone that the Bellator had posted the damn knockout, and there was hundreds of tweets about how lucky it was. You guys are fools. You guys are absolute fools, because there's a video that I posted also of him doing the technique in training and landing it as well in training. That's not luck. If I'm drilling it, trying it, and training it, and it's working in a fight, that's not luck.
No, that's something I have in my toolbox that I can pull out when the opportunity presents itself, and that's preparation.
And how often, here's what set that up. How often do guys with their hands on the person try to throw a head kick? Very rarely. So he knew that I had to throw the head kick close. And when he circled or ducked under, I'm close enough now to throw a spinning back fist and it'll land.
Yep.
If I throw the head kick from far away, and then I try to do the spinning back fist, he's way too far away.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he was doing. It was not luck.
No.
It was very unfortunate for Horiguchi.
No, but it was beautifully
right
done.
into it. But it was beautifully done. But every time you saw Horiguchi come in and come out, he steps out with his hands down, with his chin up in the air. He walked right into it. It's unfortunate, but that's the fight. That's what makes this game so fun. Game. This is why you guys tune in. You guys look for the beautiful train wreck, and you found one. That's what you found that night, was a beautiful train wreck. And I mean, as much as I love the energy, the excitement of having Horiguchi sign with Bellator, and knowing that he's going to be in the tournament regardless of what happened, this was for the title fight. He has a chance to redeem himself, which I believe. Honestly, I truly believe this. He will probably be one of the guys in the finals. He is that damn good. He made a mistake. He's good. Now, I'm not discrediting any of the other fighters in there, but when you're talking about the ability of, even after talking with Kayla Harrison, talking with a lot of the other fighters out of American Top Team, this kid is a workhorse. He's going to keep going. He's going to keep getting better. He will get better from this loss. That's what he'll do. And so I'm pumped to see him in this tournament, and I can't wait to see how this whole thing plays out, because I would not be surprised if you see either Rafael Stotts and Horiguchi in the finals, or if you see Pettis and Horiguchi in the finals. Like, I would not be surprised if you. Now, I'm not discrediting the other guys. Gallagher, Mix, and all the other fighters, and Magomedov, who's the only guy that has a legit win over Peter Yan. Okay, you cannot discredit that guy. There's just no way. So when you put all of them together in a bracket, this is going to make for some fun-ass fights. And it really comes down to who they're matched up with and how it all gets to the title. But I can tell you right now, when I look in comparison to who the best, most well-rounded fighters in that thing is, I look at Stotts, I look at Horiguchi, and I look at Pettis. Those are the top three. And if you look at the rankings, those are the top three. Juan Archuleta's in there, but I mean, Juan's got to get through his own mental barriers, because he's got that loss to Pettis, which he wants to get back, and he beat Mix. But I think guys like Stotts, Stotts is that's gonna be a tough fight for him, because Stotts is a better wrestler than him, and Stotts a little bit faster than him, and he has a hard time with dealing with guys with faster than you. And in terms of Horiguchi, that's another one who's faster than him, gets in and gets out. Conditioning wise, they're all just as good. That when you get to those top four guys, they're all conditioning wise, they're phenomenal. All of them are. All of them are. So it was a great fight. The way it all worked out. I mean, it should have been on the higher rankings for the ESPN top 10. It should have been like number 3. I'm going to go ahead and give credit to the ones that were there at number 1 and number 2. I thought those were both impressive. I believe number 1 was someone got chased down. It was a females U.S. rugby. And it was rugby, and they chased one girl chased the other girl down all the way down to save the game. They ended up winning. That, you can't be mad at that. I'm sorry. That hustle and that hard work. That's no way.
Dude, she ended up going down like 1 foot before hitting that goal line that they have. So
and then the second one, because we work with a couple people that call hockey fights, and they said the second one was like what he put the puck on the tip of his stick and then flung it in from the top corner. Beautifully done. Okay, I'll concede to those two. But then next it should have been
basketball dunks.
Should have been basketball dunks. You guys they're all 7 foot. You're telling me you can't just put your arm up for another 3 feet and put it in the hole? Anyways. All right. So let's move on to the UFC. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this, though. We had somebody that both of us know. I'm not going to say the name, but they bet on that fight between Pettis and Horiguchi.
They bet a lot of money. We won't say how much. They bet a lot of money.
A lot of money. I mean, well over $500,000. How's that? And they bet on Horiguchi, and I saw that person when that fight ended, and I see him, and they were sitting in the stands there, and they didn't move. It's almost like they were in shock. And then, everyone's leaving the arena, and they're still sitting there, and then they're breaking down, the entire ring, and lights are coming down, and they're still sitting there. And I was like, "Yep, I think I'd still be sitting there, and I'd be planning how I was going to commit Harry Carey." Because I was killing myself. And that, I just looked at it, I said, and that's why I don't bet. It was like, if I'm going to bet $20, $100 at most, I don't know how those guys do it. I don't know how they do it. And I saw the pain in the face. Unbelievable.
when I go to Vegas and I gotta play like the $25 and $50 like blackjack table, every time I lose $50, I'm like, fuck, I could have just walked away. But then my dumb ass will put more money down because you want to try to win it back.
Oh yeah,
you know. But I mean, when you're talking over $500,000, I don't even know what I would do. I wouldn't even know. First of all, I would never do that. That's one thing. But I mean, God, I could just imagine what's going through his mind. But you already know that person. That's how much faith and belief that they had in him because he was dominating the fight up until that moment. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. With a loss like that, John, like mentally, where does that put him going into the tournament? Because I really believe he would have been the clear-cut favorite had he won that. Had he won that belt, he would have been mentally the clear-cut favorite to win that tournament. But now this changes things. This changes people. You guys have to understand when I'm here telling you guys, confidence is everything. He won his Rising title back. He's feeling like, okay, I'm coming off a knee surgery. Okay, I just got my title back from Rising. Now I'm here. I'm dominating the champ that's here right now. That happens. Now he's going to think to himself, I got to be careful everywhere I go. I can't be the same explosive fighter that I am. He will probably take less chances in this tournament now in terms of what he wants to do. I just don't know how mentally it's going to affect him. Now, we had Kayla Harris on, like I said, last week, and he just keeps doing what he does, like in the gym. You know, so we're going to find out, we're going to find out in that first round of the tournament on who he draws. Because I want to know where he's going to get put in the rankings also because he hasn't fought for us in over 15 months. So he wasn't officially in the rankings yet. But he was the former champion, which is why he got the title shot. But now he's coming back with a knockout loss. Is he going to be number 3? Is he going to be number 4? Is he going to be number 1? Is he going to be number 2? Like, are they going to drop him all the way down number 5 or 6? Are they going to drop him all the way down there?
Maybe.
So I want to know where they're going to put him.
Yeah.
I think because he was the
champion, I would say he's going to end up somewhere around 2.
I think, and then I also think because he was dominating the fight up until that moment, I think they're going to put him somewhere else. Like, I agree with you, somewhere around 1. Or I think it'll probably be maybe even. I don't want to say 1. I want to say 2 or 3, somewhere in there. Yeah, it would be hard pressed to put him ahead though of Stotts because Stotts hasn't been champion yet. I could see them putting him ahead, or not ahead of Juan Archuleta though.
Yeah.
So, because Juan's 1, so I could see them putting him ahead of Stotts, but not ahead of Juan.
Yep.
Only based off because he was the champ. Yeah. All right, well, hey, let's get into the UFC. All right, everyone, we want to thank one of our major sponsors, the one that's been carrying the weight for us for the longest time, MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code WAYNEIN. There's got a bunch of activities that are going on right now in the sports world, especially now with the college football playoffs coming up. You guys can put some bets on there. If it's the first time you guys are using MyBookie.ag, use our promo code WAYNEIN. If you guys use that promo code, they're going to give you a little extra bonus. If you use that QR code right there, that will actually give you a little extra cash to bet. For the college football playoffs that are coming up, there's been chaos as of today with all the teams that fell today and the ones that won today. I'm interested to see how the rankings are going to come out by the middle of week next week, and we're going to see what happens. You have basketball is kicking in right now as well. Hockey's picking it up, and you've got the big UFC pay-per-view next weekend. Make sure you guys can bet on that. Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira going to finally get it down. We're going to see you on that. So go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code WAYNEIN. We want to thank you guys for the support. Okay, and enjoy, and hopefully you guys make some money. In terms of Vince Morales versus Smolka, not a lot to talk about him. He had a great
big-time knockout. Dude, when a guy goes forward like that, you know that he is absolutely hurt, disconnected. He was in that Muay Thai plum, and Morales just reached over the top and planted one on him, and it hurt him bad, and that was the end.
Well, he didn't put his hands up when he hit face first.
That's what I'm saying. When someone hits face first, you know he was disconnected.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to do that to podcast, Dave. Just bam. Bam. Okay. Then let's get it. Okay. So the other fight that we were talking about that we really want to talk about before, but then the fight was okay. It was good, but it wasn't the person that we thought we'd be talking about. So for Brian Barberena, we thought, okay, we love watching him fight. He's action packed. He's go, go, go. But Darian Weeks to me was very impressive.
Very
I
impressive.
Thought he did a great
Wrestling
job.
was very impressive.
Short notice.
Took big shots. He took some shots. I was like, damn. man, and he fought his ass off. You know, he came into that undefeated and stuff, and he fought a guy that, based upon the people that he's faced, the guy is just a dog, man. He will come and he will stand and bang with anybody, and just tough as hell. Man, it was that close. It was a close fight.
Yeah.
Darian Weeks
I thought
looked
Darian
really
looked
good.
Yeah, he took some shots. He delivered some big shots. He was fighting pretty well off of his back foot as well, because Barberena kept walking down, walking forward. But I was very impressed for someone who took a fight on short notice. He looked good. Now, like I sometimes don't listen to the commentary. I listened to it a little bit tonight, and they were kind of right in terms of their options. When you're someone who takes a fight on short notice, you have a couple options. You try to weather the storm and then get into the, and just kind of pace it. You want to try to pace it to get through all 3 rounds, or you cut it all out. You try to get them out of there in the first round. Put it all out there, have a good performance. The problem with that right there, right, is when you fight somebody, like when you see let me see, what fight was it? Dun, dun, dun. What fight was it that I was watching? Shit.
What are you talking about?
Somebody got rocked. Clay Guida.
Clay Guida.
Well, yeah, it's like, that's the problem when you try to blow your wad. So we'll get into the Clay
No, you
Guida
don't try to blow your wad. It's when you do blow your wad.
So Santos blew his wad. And so when you see someone like Darian Weeks, right? Like, he's like, okay, do you want to go really hard knowing you didn't have a full camp? And then potentially look like that afterwards. Get so tired that you're one of the top black belts in the world and you're getting subbed by Clay Guida. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you're like, that's not what you wanted. Like, for Darian Weeks, like, he's someone he knew he was in shape. He talked about, look, I'm always training. I'm always ready. Well, he proved tonight that he's always ready. He's always training. He's always in pretty damn good shape. I mean, and because what's his name? Barberena brings a lot of pressure.
Oh, he brought a lot of pressure.
But Weeks handled it just great.
Yep.
So good fight. We just wanted to make sure he got a little love tonight because he deserved it. Great job, great performance, and I can't wait to watch you fight again, bud.
Yep. Came in against a tough dude, man. Put it all out there. Didn't lose the fight, just ran out of time with it.
Yeah.
Just very good performance in my. How about Manel Cape, man? Fast. Dude, he's fast.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, John. Was it because, how do you say this guy's last name? Zumagulov. We'll just say that. Okay, versus
Whatever.
Cape. Okay, so Cape, though, is it because Zumagulov brought the fight to him that made that fight, because he stepped into the shots and was throwing, he was getting caught in transition, and Cape is faster. Cape was getting the punches there quicker and was throwing him a little bit straighter as well, because Zumagulov, or however you say his name, this guy was bringing the action. And I love, like, he was throwing heat with every single thing. He was taking some shots, delivering some shots, but we've seen with Manel, like, he brings the fight sometimes, but he just does a couple little high flying action things, and then he just go ahead and, like, I touch you, and I'm okay. I'll rest on those until the opportunity presents itself again. He needs to fight people like this guy, because this guy here, Zumagulov or whatever his name was, he brings it to him, and then we get to see the real Manel Cape. We get to see the real fighter who is explosive, who will throw flying knees, throw the big heat. You didn't utilize really any of his wrestling in this fight, but I mean, he's got good wrestling. He's got decent wrestling in terms of his transition. Don't
say good.
It's decent. I wouldn't say good. Decent.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. But he's got good. He lowers his level really well. He gets in deep. He's fast. He's explosive. Yeah. But I think the reason why that fight was so good was because of his opponent.
It was. He had a guy that brought the fight to him, and when someone brings the fight, look, he's got a good chin. He takes a good shot.
Yeah, he does.
I have seen him get hurt, but he takes a good shot. And at 125, they normally have to land multiples to really get someone going and stuff. He's hard to hit anyway, so he can take that one shot and still survive it. But exactly what you're saying, when he has an opponent who's coming after him, it allows him to have openings on his counters. And he landed that freaking left right. It was beautifully placed, and then his opponent gets put against cage, and he just starts ripping him with lefts and rights, and he made the referee come in and stop the fight based upon his opponent just started to wilt under the volume of what he was throwing and stuff. But look, that's 2 in a row. 2 in a row that he finished. I think, didn't he finish this last one in the first round too? So
yes, I believe that was the knee, right?
Yep. So that's 2 in a row. Both first round finishes. He's starting to feel his, he's starting to be comfortable within the UFC. He realizes, hey, I can fight with these guys, and I'm the guy that has speed and stuff. And so I think you're going to see a lot of good things from him. He's still super young. He's not even in his 30s yet. So he's got time on his side, and he's got athleticism, and where he's training now, they like him, and he's doing well with the people that he's training with. And I think he's just going to get better. So he's going to be fun to watch.
Nice. All right. So the next fight, for me, was Chris Curtis. Very impressive.
Oh, I love that guy. The action man.
He brings it. I liked how he started going to the body. He started mixing up his combinations. I'd like to see him kick a little bit more because he looks like he has some pretty good kicks. He was there was times where he would throw him kind of half-ass.
There was times
where he threw him with some heat.
Yeah, but there was, like at the beginning, Brendan Allen was putting it on him. And it almost to the point where Brendan had that look like, oh, I'm just going to sit here and just piece you up, because Chris kind of sits back a lot in the beginning. He waits, and then all of a sudden he explodes into something. But, Brendan Allen's a good fighter, and that's a big time win. That's 2 in a row and quick. I love the fact he goes, you got a show next week. I'm here. Just give me a call. I'm ready to go. I'm not hurt at all. I love that. I go, he's fun. Yeah, he's pulling off the Kevin Holland. What's that?
Isn't that 5-0? Isn't that 5 in a row for him in the UFC? I think
Chris
he's won
Curtis?
5 straight now. Yeah.
No.
On him?
I
thought I heard them say he was 5-0 in the UFC.
No.
No, so he's got 2 wins.
He's only been there for the 2 fights because he came out of the Dana White contender thing.
Did he fight in the Dana White contender thing a couple times?
Not recently.
I don't think so.
No, he came out of. He didn't fight there at all. It looks like.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. 2018.
Ah, okay.
But he's done a lot since then. He's done PFL. He's done a couple of these smaller shows.
Yeah.
But he's come into his own as a fighter, man, and he's doing well. How
many wins is that in a row for him? 6? 7?
Yeah, 7.
7. I mean, look at who he lost to. He lost to Magomed Karamov or whatever, and then Ray Cooper. I mean, he lost to Karamov 2 times. There's no shame in that.
There's no shame in that at all.
And Ray Cooper just beat Karamov or whatever, and that fight was great.
But Karamov was lighting Ray up for a while there too.
Yeah, he was piecing him up too. That was a great fight, man. I went back and watched that fight again after that. It was fucking great. I'm a Ray Brother Cooper fan for sure. Good stuff. All right, well, let's see. What were we talking about there? So Chris Curtis, I thought he did good. Started mixing it up, going to the body, came over the top, landed some clean shots. It was that left hook that landed right hook. He went body, then right hook. Yeah, caught him in the exchange on the right hook. So he went body on the left side and came over the top with the right hook. Nicely done. Wobbled him a little bit and then got him to sit down. Nice job, man. I love those kind of stories. And then like Brendan Allen, like he was looking good up until then.
Really good. He's good. He's talented.
All right, well let's talk about my boy. My boy, the guy owes me 20% of his career. Okay, my boy, Clay fucking Guida, brother. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, actually, to be honest. But I'm happy for you, man. Good job, great job tonight. Just phenomenal way you weathered the storm, got through the shit. You are. When we talk about people being dogs, you're a dog. You're just one of those guys. We've always known you were a dog, but I got to make sure that I have to say it, man. What a dog. He weathered that storm. He took some big shots, got hurt to the body early. Like we've talked about this before, those are crippling.
Oh,
yeah. It's not horrible. Like if you get hit to the head, you're wobbled, you're trying to get your functions about you.
But it doesn't hurt.
You get to the body, you see everything that's going on. Like but you just can't do anything because your body is seized up. Your legs don't work, your arms don't work. All you can do is just grab your stomach and try to protect it some more and try and get some air in and out, which just doesn't happen.
And Santos kept going to the body. He kept on ripping it, man. I was like, oh, that sucks. That hurts.
Yeah.
But Clay Guida comes through. All the flowing locks of Clay. He started to look like Dan Cormier with the freaking the hairline, man. It's going all the way to Cormier. But
and he's got the bald spot in the back.
He is AKC certified, a junkyard dog, and I love the guy. Yeah. He just, man, he made it through that first round, and you knew after, I want to say it was John Anik was saying, was this a 10-8 round? It's like, no, it would have been if, Santos had stayed either even on top of Clay and Clay had no offense coming off because he took an ass whipping. But Clay, comes back in that round and he does damage to, Santos, not enough to take the round. Santos wins the round, but you knew that Santos was done. You knew that he blew himself up and he wasn't going to be able, he'll get the minute refs. He'll come back and be okay for 30 seconds and he's going to fall right off the cliff again. That's what happened. Yeah. And Clay went after him. I like the fact that he got the choke. And as soon as you saw all of a sudden when he felt like he got his arm around you, you could see it in his head. And all of a sudden he goes palm to palm and he starts squeezing, pulling back. The hips go in and you go, here goes Clay Guida, a guy who is not a submission guy at all.
No.
And he's going to submit a world champion in jiu-jitsu. It was a good win. Insane. It was a really good win.
Insane. Well, that was like, what's his name? God, the Gonzalez kid that subbed Fiera. Was it Gonzalez?
No. That was Anthony Figueroa.
Fluffy?
Fluffy.
It was Fluffy, right?
Yeah.
So Fluffy submitted him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Rodrigo Vieira.
God. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you get tired, I don't
care who you are. When you're tired, man, it's over.
Breaks you mentally, physically, everything. Jamal Hill versus Jimmy Crute.
Dude, he's got power. He's got pop in his hands, man. He really does. Because, he hurt, when he fought OSP, he hurt OSP, who's got a good chin, has gone with a lot of good guys. He hurt him bad in that. I was like, every now and then you get lucky. Then he lost to James Craig, got his arm tore up in that one. And then coming into this, Jimmy Crute's a tough dude, and he hit Jimmy behind the ear almost, as Jimmy's ducking down, and that puts Jimmy down. And then the second one, dude, he lit him up. Same shot, and it's like the dude's he's got pop in his hands, man. He can box, and
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I liked his attitude afterwards and stuff. And it's like, hey, man, I'm here. And I like it.
Yeah,
he looked good.
It lets you know that body style, body shape, all those things have no bearing on whether you possess power or not.
Not at all.
I mean, I took pride in the way I looked for every fight.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did. I take pride on the fact, that throughout my whole career, my diet was very clean. Everything was clean. I took pride in how I physically looked because it made me feel better about the way I fought. That whole Deion Sanders look good, feel good, fight good, perform good, play good, whatever it was. Okay. I felt it was true. This dude don't look like he can crack an egg.
No, he doesn't.
The speed in which he gets it there. And he's very precise with it too. And you don't think so, but it gets to the button real quick. And you just see people's lights shut out. I believe he dropped Jimmy Crute with the jab first. And then he jumped on top of him, and then Jimmy was able to get back up. And when he scrambled back up, it was done. Hit him with another piece, couple pieces, boom, and it was over.
It wasn't a jab on that one.
Man.
His I want to say it was the right hand. Hit him. He came over with a check right hook, and then did the same thing again the second time.
I thought it was the first time he dropped him, John, I thought it was a straight jab. And then when they got back up, the way he finished him was the other way. Maybe.
We need to go back and watch that one, baby.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it again. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought he dropped him with the jab first.
There was someone that got dropped with a jab, and I'm trying to remember which fight it was, but it wasn't that one. That one, he hit him with the same shot twice.
No, it was Alex Morano. You're right. Alex Morano dropped Mickey Gall.
Yep.
He dropped Mickey Gall with the jab. That's right.
There
Sorry.
you go.
My apologies, guys. My
No,
apologies.
it's all good.
We've watched a lot of fights in the last 2 days, okay?
Too many.
A lot. It's a lot. Oh. And what you guys got to remember is like when we do research for our Bellator fights, we're doing we're looking at those fighters and all their past fights throughout
all
the
their
week.
fights. Oh.
So,
A lot of fun.
all right. But the fight that most people were always like itching at or chomping at the bit to watch was
the one that I was.
Fiziev versus Brad Riddell. And I got to tell you, it did not disappoint. It was a great fight. It was back and forth, but I could tell that Riddell had the thing.
Riddell looked tight.
He just looked like he remembers when they used to train together. The hands and the boxing definitely went to Fiziev because he was trying to get in and throw his combination as hard and as fast as he could and get out. Because he was smothering the space. He wanted to jump in real fast and throw it, and hopefully something landed and knocked him out before he got out. Because you could tell that was like the whole idea from him, because he didn't want to get stuck in that boxing ring in the exchanges. He wanted to smother it so much where Fiziev didn't have the ability to land a clean, hard shot before he got his off. So I think some past training he knew, and you could tell he was a little bit more tense than Fiziev was when it came down to like the introductions, when it came down to the way they were acting physically in the cage. There was something about it where one
Just
person
the way they were fighting.
He knew he had to be way more focused because he knew that he was probably the guy that was on the shittier end of the stick when it was training time.
I agree. It was evident that Fiziev just looked way more comfortable within the fight. He looked like, he was the one that was controlling the distance and the range and where the fight was going to be at. And that's, that right there goes to show that when they were training, he was able to do that against Brad too. So Brad knew that he's hard for me to move around. He tends to move me around because he's got speed with his kicks and his hands. So I'll give, Brad nothing but credit, man. He was throwing hard. He was going after him. The cut from the elbow, that was a good cut. He kept, he didn't let it bother him at all. He landed some good shots, but when Fiziev landed that kick, it froze him. He was, Pete, when you talk about being out on your feet, because he bounced, you can use your skeletal structure to actually stay up. Frank Mir did it in the fight against Pulev, where you become stiff, and that's kind of what Brad did, but his butt hit the cage, because if the cage wasn't there, he would have fallen over, and he was just going to get lit up and hurt bad. I thought it was a great stop by Herb in recognizing how bad he was hurt, and that's a big win for Fiziev. This guy, someone's going to have to figure out how to put him on his butt, because if you don't put that guy on his butt and be able to stay in the top position on him, you're going to have problems with him.
Yeah. These guys are 55, right?
Yep.
John, when people ask me, do I want to fight again? I look at this shit and I'm like, no, no, I have no desire. No, thank you. These guys are animals. I was looking at, I heard DC, and I think it was even Bisbing was the other commentator tonight. I heard them say how big his back was, and I was already thinking that on how big Brad Riddell's back was, Riddell, how big his back is. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it was enormous. It was
looked like Matt Hughes out there.
His back. I was like, holy shit, this guy's fighting at 55. I'm like, this is enormous. Anyways, Fiziev didn't look as big, but I mean, he was a lot faster,
that dude's jacked,
just tighter.
That dude's jacked still.
All right, well, let's get into the legend himself. And I think when we talked about this last week with Jose Aldo and Rob Font, I was concerned about Rob Font's jab, like you were. I think you had brought that up as well. And we were concerned about as the fight went longer, it would favor Rob Font because Rob Font's got a gas tank on him, which he proved. He's got a gas tank on him.
Yep.
What we were wondering was, would Jose Aldo use his kicks? And it wasn't until the third round, right? The third round?
Yeah, I want to say it was the third round.
Yeah, his corner said, start using your kicks. They're there. Kick the kicks.
And it was.
It was. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Not have a devil's advocate. I want to point out something. He couldn't have used them in the first round. Rob Font was switching so much that why spend that much energy chasing that leg early in the fight? The boxing, he was trying to get the timing down. That's why he really didn't do shit in the first round. Jose didn't do much until the very end when he was able to drop him, sit him to his butt. And I still thought that was a close round. I mean, I know he got dropped, but he also wasn't able to do a whole lot after he dropped him because he smothered the space. But I did give it to Jose also, but because I'm a homer, and I wanted to see. I like old people, man. I mean, I'm going to be biased towards the old people every time, probably.
Thank you. Not me.
Yes, yeah. not that old. Not that old. No. I'm gonna lean towards Herzog, and Beltran, those guys. But no, Jose. I thought Jose once he was finding his space. He was waiting though. He was really kind of pacing himself in the first and second round. He was landing the cleaner, harder shots. I thought the second round was close. I could have seen that possibly going to, and I think one of the judges gave the second round to Rob because one was 49 something. The other one
but he got stung again, and that was the big difference in the fight for each round. Look, Rob actually, if you want to go by time, did better work over more of the round than Aldo did, but Aldo landed the heavier shots and hurt Font consistently, almost in every round, and he would take the round based upon he hurt him and he put him in danger. Aldo Font came out and did really well and was, take a look at Aldo's face. You could see how that jab was jacking, his eye socket up and everything. And he had a lot of damage on his face because he ate that jab a lot. And I actually thought that Font kind of didn't use the jab as much as I thought that he would. Even though he used it, there were times he kind of got away from it because he was getting hit straight down the pipe by the right hand, and that was giving him problems and stuff. But I thought that, I thought the scoring was right. I thought Aldo was winning the rounds, even though Font was actually having moments where he was really fighting well and actually, winning more of the round as far as with volume, and then the power would come in and Aldo would land that big shot and put him down. Hey, that swung it over to Aldo, and you got to give it. Aldo has that in his back pocket. He's got power.
Yeah.
At 135 pounds, he can still crack.
He's got the power at the hands. He just, I don't know what it is. He doesn't have the output. He used to have
he gets tired.
Like he had a lot more. Yeah, he gets tired.
But he always did.
I don't know why.
He always did.
He did. But I don't know. I looked at it differently back then because you want to know why? He was fighting guys like Mark Hominick who are just fucking guys that have gas tanks out the ass.
Yeah.
Like that guy would spar Shark Tank for 45 minutes straight with a new guy every 2.5 minutes, and he'd be like, "Okay, who's next? Who's next?" And everyone's like, "We're dead. We're tired of beating you up. We're tired of trying to take you down. We're trying to push." Like he could keep going. Jose. So I never looked at Jose as like someone who needed that he was a gasser. He didn't gas out. He just fought guys that had pretty big tanks, like Cub Swanson, and then Mark Hominick and other guys that they had good gas tanks. So I never looked at it that way. But I feel like now as he's getting older, but he's only 30-something years old.
34.
How he's 34? Jose Aldo.
I think he's 34.
Did we look at this the other day, right? 35.
35.
So it will work against him. But his ability.
September 9th.
Okay,
September
so
9th, yeah.
Recently came through.
Just recently. But his leg kicks and his ability to go to the body, he used to go the right hand, left body shot, and then head kick over the top.
Yeah.
Like he used to throw that combination all the time. It was beautiful. Or he'd go leg kick to the body. Or leg kick to the body. That made no sense. He'd go right hand, body shot, and then leg kick. Just nasty. Are you making fun of me? I saw you smiling right there. What was all that about, huh?
Leg kick to the body. Body shot to the leg. What?
Yeah, leg kick to the body.
What the hell are
makes
you
perfect
talking
sense.
about?
Everyone's, guys, calm down, man. Okay, everyone, you guys calm down. I'm literally working off like 4 hours of sleep, guys. Come on, give me a break. I'm going to continue to use that excuse. I will.
Forever.
Forever. I loved the fact that he went to the leg kicks as soon as his corners told him. He listened to them. Great, because Rob Font had stopped switching stances by halfway through the second round. And then that leg was just there to be beat up. And you saw right from the time and the moment he started using that leg kicks, it changed the way that Rob was fighting the fight. And it
changed the
there was
jab.
a little more. It changed the jab because he knew that
which
he
was
couldn't
eating him
plan
up.
on that jab anymore.
That's it.
And then those leg kicks, actually, one of them was one of the ways that he was able to get Rob Font to the ground to control majority of that round. I want to say that was in the 4th round. He was able to he kicked the leg, was able to jump on top and control the rest of the round that way, or majority of that round.
It was his ability to get the fight to the ground saved him in the fight because he was getting tired and he was able to control the position. You saw like he would work himself to mount and then Rob would get himself back to a half guard, but worked himself to mount multiple times. But he wasn't trying to do damage. He was just trying to, I'm trying to stay on top of him. And I need air, which is okay. We say there's those moments in the fight. You got to find those places for you to grab a little rest. And that's what he was doing because he knew that, he'd been pushed hard.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this like it pains me to say this, but with a great performance and a win, it puts him right in that title talk again. But he's not beating Peter Yan.
No,
it's just, and that's the only thing. I'm just like, damn. Like you could look until you fix that cardio situation, because I think he can have some success with that leg kick against Peter Yan, because Peter is very heavy on the legs because of his boxing. He's his boxing is his mainstay. He'll throw some kicks, he'll do some foot sweeps, all of those things. But if Jose doesn't use his leg kicks against Peter Yan, he has no chance, none. And we saw that in the first fight when they fought. So, and he's got to fix the cardio situation. And I don't know if he can. 35 years old, fighting guys that are that fast, that active, and that type of pace. I don't know if he can.
It's a matter of it's kind of similar to like BJ Penn. There's nothing to fix. He trains hard. He's just a fast twitch muscle fiber guy, and if he cannot control the pace of the fight, like he did with Font for a lot of it, look at Font was able to push him in a lot of sections of that fight, and that's why Aldo was getting pushed to the point of he's getting exhausted, and then he worked himself into or fell into positions where he was able to be in the top position on the ground and be able to, slow the fight down and get his heart rate back down. He wasn't able to do that when he fought Peter Yan, and he's not going to be able to control the pace against Peter Yan, even if he lands the leg kicks, because Jan's going to be in his face and pressing and putting pressure on him, which makes you move backwards or laterally, which burns more energy. And when you've got someone that is putting pressure on you and landing shots, that just increases that drop in your cardio. And he's a fast twitch muscle fiber guy, so it's not like he's not in shape. It's just that he drops off the cliff faster than guys that, are different. And Yan doesn't have that problem in the same fashion.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish him nothing but the best. Who's ranked ahead of him, Dave?
Well, they're talking about him against TJ Dillashaw. And I think that's the right fight because you've got Yan and Sterling that should be fighting because, Sterling's the, I guess, undisputed and Yan is the interim champion. So they've got to fight. And then you've got TJ Dillashaw sitting there. I would say Aldo should fight TJ Dillashaw.
What about Sandhagen? Sandhagen's coming off the 2 losses, but
but you got 2 guys coming off of wins. It is, but you got one guy coming off a loss, Corey Sandhagen, because he lost to Yan. You got Aldo coming off a win. You got TJ Dillashaw coming off a win.
Yeah,
that's
makes
the
sense.
one.
You're right. It does make sense. And then TJ come back after his knee surgery.
Yep.
I don't know how he's gonna handle them fucking leg kicks.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to come back on.
A lot. All right, Dave. Well, hey, let's get into what we have, like something to talk about, some news. What do we got?
Yep. So we'll just give you guys a chance to just kind of get a bit deeper into this Bantamweight tournament, and then we'll wrap up after that.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Bellator announced their Bellator World Grand Prix.
World Grand Prix.
World Grand Prix. So
World Grand Prix.
For the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. I should have said. Look, I had said something on air, and people were like, "Oh my God, Josh is such a homer. blah, blah, blah
What'd
about
you
these.
say?
I just basically said, I said, like, these guys in the 135-pound division, these are some of the best guys in the world. Okay?
They are.
This weight class is stacked all the way across the board. We just talked about Rob Font, Jose Aldo, and we talked about TJ Dillashaw.
The UFC's bantamweights are stacked.
They're stacked as well.
Yes.
But and people were like, "Oh, well, these guys are not as good." You guys, the champ. I'm going to call him the champ because that's what he is Peter Yan. Okay, he has a loss to Magomed Magomedov. Magomed Magomedov has beaten him, and he's also lost to him. So they're 1-1 between each other. That being said, Rafion Stotts has beaten Magomed Magomedov. And I'm not doing MMA math. What I'm saying is that he beat Magomed Magomedov pretty handily. It was unanimous decision. There was never a moment where he was in jeopardy of losing that fight, Rafion Stotts. He's a stud. He's a really damn good wrestler. He's got good hands. He's fast. He's athletic. He's explosive. He knows how to set the distance really well. He's going to be, and when I talk about all the other guys in this bracket, he's going to be a fucking problem. He's going to be a problem for all these guys. Like and you saw, if you guys watched the show at all, when he walked out, that confidence that he brings, that shit ain't going nowhere. Okay? That's the way he walks into the cage. That's the way he fights. That's the way he walks around in life. That's him. He loves what he's doing. I did the interview with him there. He's got the Chico, taco hairy chest thing going on with the low cut shirt, the gold chain. I mean, he can't be phased. He cannot be phased. So you've got him. Okay.
Did you see
James Gallagher, Leandro Higo.
Stop. Did you see his Instagram thing in the elevator with Patchy Mix and Juan Archuleta?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, dude, he fucking used to.
Is it on his?
Yeah, it's on his thing. He says, "I found him. I finally found him. They've been running from me. These guys." And he starts showing them. He goes, "You can't run anymore, man." That's just laughing.
Oh, that's great. Dave? Can you pull that up? Rafion Stotts. It should be on.
The dude
on
is
his Instagram.
He's awesome.
That's great.
He is so funny, and he's so goddamn good now.
I want to see this.
It's great.
And it's in his elevator.
It's in an elevator. Maybe it was on Twitter. Might be on Twitter.
Maybe it was on Twitter. It might have been on his story. You might have put it on his story too.
Oh, he might have.
Go to his.
How recent would it have been, John?
What's that? It was recent.
This was
yesterday.
Probably just go to his. It might have been on his story. Go to his story.
Okay.
That's funny. Yeah, he's got that personality. There he is on. He's at the desk with me right there. This dude riding the bull.
He's riding
the bull.
Oh,
geez.
No,
that's not it.
No.
That's
not it.
He's at the airport. It looks.
He's at the airport already. Nah. I see.
Oh, dude, too bad.
It might have been on. It might have been on Twitter, huh?
It might have been on Twitter. Look on Twitter.
That's funny. Look, this guy, he's just got energy. He's got the charisma. I like what he's doing. He's a good guy. But all these guys, they're all talented, but I look at the guys that are going to have a hard time. Okay? James Gallagher's going to have a hard time. Patchy Mix is going to have a little bit of a hard time. Patchy Mix is damn good. James is damn good. We just saw the two of them fight. Mix came out on top, but it wasn't an easy fight like Patchy Mix thought. Okay? Juan Archuleta is going to have a really hard time as well. Because if he thinks he's fighting the same Patchy Mix that he fought to win the title, that ain't happening. Let me see this thing.
All right, hold on. I need to get the volume up.
Guess who the fuck I ran into? Guess who the fuck I ran into? I've been looking for these dirty motherfuckers. I've been looking for these dirty motherfuckers everywhere. Can't find them. Can't fucking find them.
That's on you, dude.
That's where they been hiding. We done found their ass. We done found their ass. You know his ass lying. You know he ain't trying to fight no goddamn body. But there you go. We found his ass.
Oh shit! I love this guy. He's great, man.
Found these dirty MFers, man. I love it.
He knows. I think he knows. Like, look, Patchy Mix have a hard time getting him down. That's one, and Patchy can't stand with him. But Patchy does get him to the ground. He's got a damn good chance. Mix got a chance to sub anybody, and I mean, I've already heard all the stories of him training with guys that are way bigger than him. him training with some of the Dagestani guys and doing really damn well with them as well. Mix is damn good. They're all good in their own, what am I looking for, the word here?
Their own world, their own style.
In their own world, their own right. Yeah, their own right. Like, they're all good in their own right. But he is the one, to me, he's the most well-rounded one out of all of them. He can wrestle the shit out of everyone. He can stop takedowns. He can keep it on the feet with his speed. He will be a damn problem for all of them.
He will be. And he's strong as hell, and he's actually big for the division. He's going to be good. He's what you're looking for, though, because he's fun to watch, and he's got personality. You know?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, man.
John, the one that I think, though, is going to give him a problem, though, is going to be Horiguchi.
Horiguchi would give him, give them the most trouble. Yep.
You know, it's going to give him the most trouble. It's going to be that type of fight because even though he does all these explosive, movements, but he's not someone that's going to do what Pettis did. And so he's not someone that's going to throw the head kick and the spinning back fist off of that. I haven't seen him throw anything like that. He's a very straight throw the jab, the 1-2 combination, throw the kick, up, push kick up the middle, set up the takedowns. He puts it together like a traditional mixed martial artist. Pettis will pull the showtime out of his ass, like we just saw. So those are the guys that I think will have a chance to potentially catch, like a Horiguchi. Horiguchi, because he is so fast, he does possess so much power. He is, he's got pretty damn good wrestling as well as submissions. He's a threat, but he will kick your ass like he did against Pettis for 3.5 rounds. But he's going to get caught by the stuff that Pettis threw. I don't see him getting caught by a traditional fighter. Someone who's very just straight, 1-2, like he could, sure, but the likeliness of it is not as much as it say, like you have to pull something like a rabbit out of your ass to get him.
Yeah, but if you're looking at all those guys in that tournament, take a look across the board there. There's one guy that has the speed to match up with Horiguchi. Rafion Stotts.
Yeah.
He's got speed, man. And so they match up very well as far as that speed. So, you can take a look. Leandro Higo, very strong. He's got power. Good speed, not the same speed as Horiguchi or Stotts. Patchy Mix, big for the division. Yes. Great ground game. Doesn't have the speed of Horiguchi or Stotts. Juan Archuleta, great cardio, great, pace that he brings. Doesn't have the speed. Sergio Pettis, who we saw, even him doesn't have the speed. And then Magomed or James Gallagher, they don't have the same speed. So they've got to make up if they're going to fight against either one of those guys, they've got to make up a way to negate that speed. And that's tough. That's why we always say speed kills. Man, it's tough to deal with when someone is faster than you.
All right, so real quick, though, let me leave you guys with this. John, how do you match this up for a first-round fight? How do you match this up?
Oh, my God. If I was going to
pen and paper here, John. Pen and paper. I'm going to write it down.
Well, see, I'm going to get myself in trouble because I'm not going to probably match it up the same as Bellator's going to match it up.
Well, no, but I mean, if we're in Fantasyland, are we matching up the best guys that we can in the first round so we get the best fights we can in the first round? Or are we matching up like 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7? How you would do it for March Madness?
It's tough because you've got a champion in Pettis. And if you were going to take
a lot there, John, you just stuttered a lot. John, you were just stuttering a lot there, buddy.
When you have a champion in Pettis, you need to stop, dude. When you have a champion in Pettis,
I love you.
Is it fair for someone who is one of the guys that's down the list as far as their placement? Is it fair that they get a shot at the champion? And I'm not too sure about that either. It's a tough one. But I would say if I was gonna bracket them up, I would do like Horiguchi against Gallagher. I would do, you got to put Stotts and Pettis on opposite ends of the brackets. Yep. So I would put Stotts against someone like Ego. I would put Magomed against Patchy.
Stotts and then Higo. Can you put who? Magomed. Yep. Against Mix.
Patchy Mix.
Nice.
But that leaves Archuleta going back against Pettis again. So that's probably not good because they've already fought.
Yeah. But Juan is number one. He is ranked number one.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because what happens is when you have Stotts and Pettis in there, you don't want them to fight until the finals if they have to fight in the finals, which they both have already agreed that they're going to fight in the finals if they both get there.
Yeah.
So I actually agree with you on how you matched them up. The Stotts and Higo thing. I mean, I could see maybe switching it up, going Horiguchi and Higo and Stotts and Gallagher.
Sure.
I could see
Absolutely.
that. You know, but like you said, you still end up with Juan and Pettis, with Juan and Pettis, you know, in that mix. So I mean, I could see how you could do it that way. You know, you go Pettis. Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with putting Juan and Pettis together in a rematch. It's fine. Yeah, because it is champion and the guy that right now rankings wise he's won. He deserves that shot. Give it to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I actually could see it going that way and just having the number one and number two guys fight, and then the rest of them. Yeah, that makes sense. You have Horiguchi versus Gallagher. You got Stotts versus Higo, or you just flip those two,
or flip those.
You know, yeah, you flip them. You go Stotts versus Gallagher,
Stotts and
Horiguchi versus Higo.
Yep.
And then Magomed and Mix makes perfect sense because
I think that's
one's an extremely good wrestler and one's all jiu-jitsu. You know, and remember, these are all 5-round fights because if the champion has to fight 5 rounds, the rest of them have to fight 5 rounds as well. And then you've got Josh Hill, who's going to be the alternate, you know, and then, I mean, I'm sure you'll have probably somebody else that'll be the alternate. There'll probably be another one just in case.
Who should that be in your mind?
Darren Caldwell.
Thank you very much. I agree.
Yeah, Darren Caldwell.
Exactly who I was going to say.
Yeah, there's somebody that's ranked ahead of him right now.
Jornal Lugo's ranked ahead of him. And Cass Bell,
he's not ready for it.
No.
Neither one of those guys are
should
ready
be Darian.
Yep, should be Darian. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Jornal Lugo. Who was the other guy that I like? Jadlin Bates. I don't know how Cass Bell is still. Yeah, he's not ready either. But honestly, I don't know how he's ranked. I don't understand how Cass Bell is ranked ahead of Jadlin Bates.
Yeah. There's a lot
you got to move Darian.
I could say
Darian should be
the rankings of Bellator.
Yeah, our rankings. Well, the media does our rankings. We try not to we try not to interfere with.
I whine about them all the time.
Yes, we do.
But
all right, guys. Well, hey, hopefully you guys.
It'll be fun.
Go ahead.
I said the
hopefully
Bantamweight.
You guys enjoyed the show.
Things gonna be fun. Stop.
It will be fun. Yeah, we've been stepping on each other. We can tell we're tired, man. We don't normally step on each other this much. We stepped on each other a lot today. That's not like us. We actually enjoy hearing each other talk. I don't know why. There's something about your voice. It kind of turns me on. All right. All right. Well, hey, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing-in. Use the promo code and still, and you guys can pick up one of our shirts there. We've got all of them still up there. They're still out there. And Dave and I will be sitting down now that John and I are available to actually sit at home for a little bit. We've got a couple weeks. We're going to be at home up until the middle of January, I think is what it sounds like. And once that happens, we're going to have some time to work on some new shirts. We're going to have some time to work on some new deals. We're going to have some time to work on, designing some new stuff for you guys. So hopefully you guys, we're going to try to put out a couple little new things, like new shows, just here randomly, something different for you guys to get mixed up on instead of just going to the same stuff every single time. We're going to try to have some fun during this holiday season. So stick with us, bear with us, hit the subscribe button down below on our YouTube channel as well as all of our audio platforms. I know you guys all have to work. When you guys are stuck in traffic during Christmas shopping, pop us in, man. I have a lot of people hitting us up right now saying, man, Spotify, you're my number one. Send us your guys' list on your guys' number one podcast in your top 5 or whatever on Spotify. If we're in that top 5, tag us, man. We'd love to repost it, let everyone know who you guys listen to. We appreciate you guys doing that. We've had a ton of people do that to us on Twitter and Instagram. So I want to say thank you guys. All you guys that reached out to us, sent us that we're your number one or if we're in your top 5. We appreciate you guys a lot. We want to thank you for the support. And John, what do you got?
Last thing to everybody out there, I hope you have a very fine December 5th coming up and a great week coming up, and we will come back and see you later. So for everyone out there, we got a great guest coming up on Tuesday, don't we? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes. There you go.
Yes, I'm pumped for him, man. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time.
All right, we will see everyone on Tuesday. Goodbye.